Hello everybody and welcome to Front Row Racing on this Sunday evening for the ProjectCARS DTM Season 6 Round 2 from Road America, where we're going to have a very short sprint race followed by a feature race with a few practice sessions and a qualifying session that's got a bit of a twist attached to it mixed in there as well. I'm Front Row Racing DP. I'm going to be on commentary tonight, and I'm joined as ever on the Sundays evenings by Front Row Racing JS, who is just sorting out the drivers in the lobby. So, James, it's Sunday. Have you had your full fat Sunday dinner?
You mean me eggs?
Well, whatever it is you usually have as a Sunday dinner, although you have told me you've had a bit of a dodgy fish and chips today.
Oh yeah, bit of a dodgy one, and it's not worked out. I've only been able to eat half an egg.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I've eaten a lot more. As our regular viewers may know, once a year I tend to take a little trip down to Donington Park for the British touring cars, and managed to do that today. However, I am a lot less hungover because I didn't drink last night, and actually didn't stay there over the weekend. So yeah, no alcohol really in me today for this post BTCC Donington Park event. However, I do just want to make a quick comment on the event. I've had a great day at Donington, absolutely fantastic day, but I do want to send out my best wishes to Billy. I do apologise, I need to just check some information. There was some fantastic races at Donington Park today, but there was also, unfortunately, one terribly bad accident, and hopefully the driver is okay. So yeah, I want to send out my best wishes to Billy Monger, and I hope that he fully recovers from any injuries he may have sustained today. At the end of I mean, motorsport is dangerous, but people do it because they love it, and that's exactly why he does it. But yeah, an interesting day at Donington Park, followed by what I'm hoping is going to be one hell of an interesting night at the Road America circuit, because, James, we know this can be one tricky beast of a track to race around.
Oh, indeed. I mean, we've got super long straights and super high speed corners, and yeah, it's all down to the setup which you're going to go with. We saw last week, even at Barcelona, where you've got a lot of high-speed corners, Dave the Harp in a straight line was just an absolute bullet and came through and won both the sprint race and the feature race. Yeah,
I mean, I mentioned it on the post that's just gone live on Facebook with the YouTube link for the video, that Dave did take both victories last time out in Spain, and are we going to see a potential title rival come alive here at Road America? I mean, we know what Dave is capable of. We've seen it over the years. If he's happy in a car or he's happy with a setup, he's more than capable of winning races. But the drivers can't afford, like with any other season, can't afford to let any driver get a little bit of a gap and run away in the standings. And talking about the standings, James, just wondering if we've got the drivers in, and perhaps the standings is something that you could go through, or perhaps you'd like me to go through the standings.
No, I can go through them. Braken Clays has been given 2 invites, and he hasn't turned up at 7 minutes past. So the reserve drive has gone out to Ayatel as he made his way onto the podium last week. We did say he was probably the standout of the reserves. So hang
on. It's not Ayatel, it's Eltel.
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 Because we need to get that right, because if I name him wrong all the way through the race, he probably will end up on the podium just to tell me how to speak English.
And we're not calling him Peanut either.
Right. No, definitely not. If he wants to be called Peanut, he needs to change his PSN. Yeah. Right. So I'll send the driver to the circuit, and then I will go through the driver's standings. So all the drivers are putting the thumbs up. They're all raring to go. Let's get to the circuit.
Okay. So yeah, take us through the standings if you would, James.
Yeah. So Here we go over to Road America, and it is just over 4 miles long, 14 turns, and as you can see, very, very long straights and super, super tight right-hand corners, as we see there with the carousel on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So, running through the points, Dave Harp has run away with the first round. He's currently on 40 points in P1. GBM Oldman is in P2 with a sharp drop-off of 22 points. Kulu Kutu is matching Oldman on 22 points as well in third place. Eltel is in fourth place with 21 points. Then we've got GT Gavin 2 with 18 points. Jason with 17 points. Also, Adam has 17 points. Woolhouse has 16 points. And then we've got a drop-off to the... don't really want to say back markers, but the lower end of the points. We've got Stigby Rob, he's got 7 points. Dre 6181, he stood in for a reserve drive last week, he got 6 points. Ardington did the same last week and he got 5 points. Scott McFall, he got 3 points, and Dexter Drum got 1. Mulrine came away from both events, the sprint race and feature race, with 0 points, so he's going to have to really show what he can do.
That he is. Somebody else that was showing some great stuff last time out was Woolhouse. Some fantastic driving between him and Jason. It was fantastic to watch last week in Spain. But also Adam 4600. Now, James, I just need to nip off my microphone for 10-15 seconds. I've got my camera on Adam 4600. That's why I've mentioned him. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that I've got a feeling could definitely be a title contender and potentially a race winner here. But while I'm gone, I'm just wondering if you might want to mention perhaps a little bit about the format for today.
Yeah, well, as we've got Adam 4600 going down the back straight, I will pop up the track map so that I can sound a little bit more professional. Let's get that up and running. So yeah, he is currently heading towards turn 6, which is a very tight left-hander. So currently we've got a qualifying session, but really they do have just enough time, I think, to set a qualifying session, but this is really just to make sure that both us two admins, Front Row Racing DP and myself, Front Row Racing JS, end up at the back of the circuit, well out of the way for the start of the race, so we don't end up, like last season, being at the head of the grid and probably impeding the people sat in third and fourth. So yeah, that is the sprint race. It'll be for 3 laps around Road America. The tyre wear is set to real, so there should be plenty of grip out there as Adam 4600 is bouncing over them curves like as if he were on a hot air balloon there. But yeah, then we've got the feature race, which will be coming up after this, and that will be 15 laps, but the tyre wear will be set to ×4, so the drivers are really going to have to work out what type of strategy they're going to run, as Adam 4600 doesn't seem to like his cones around this circuit. They're seeming to get in his way, but yeah, as you say, he is very, looks to be hooked up around this circuit.
He does. Yeah, I mean, for the feature race as well, there's going to be a 10-minute qualifying session, a proper qualifying session, where the top 3 drivers, top 3 finishers from the sprint race, they're not going to be allowed to qualify for that. They can race, but they're going to have to start from the back of the grid. I just want to pop up the track map as well while following Jason. Let's have a look at Jason out on track with his lovely yellow and blue car. Swedish all the way for Jason. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got Superman style underpants on, because they're in the similar sort of colours. Just need a little bit of red in there as well. But yeah, the track map, and I mentioned the track map because if we mention any corner names and we start giggling, you're gonna have to forgive us. But this is what we've got on the track map. So looking, let's see, the long straight, you can see that's the start finish. You got turn 1 down at the bottom right hand side, then turn 2, and just after turn 2, that next long straight is called the Moraine Sweep. We then got 2 90-degree left-hand corners, which leads us into Hurry Downs, that leads on to the carousel. That takes us through to the Kink, and then Kettle Bottoms, which takes us to Canada Corner. And because me and James are children, Kettle Bottoms will have us giggling all day long.
Well, I'm going to say that the drivers, I don't think they'll be able to set a lap, but I think if Dave the Harp has managed to time this right, he may be one of the few drivers to get a lap in and to ensure he starts at the front of the grid.
Yeah, I mean, one of the, as you mentioned, using this, this is a warm-up session, used in a qualifying session. It's just simply to put us at the back of the grid, and if drivers do happen to get a lap time in, then bonus to them. Right, it does mean though, if you get a lap time in, chances are you're going to start at the front. If you start at the front and finish at the front, it means you end up not being able to qualify for the feature race. So there's kind of like, yeah, here's a bonus, you've managed to get a lap in, well done, but you may take a bit of pain for it later on. However, as Dave showed at Spain last week, he didn't really feel much pain. He got shunted a little bit through coming through the feature race, but he was still able to go on to take the victory. However, we are only sort of 12 seconds away, and I tell you what, a few drivers have managed to get lap times in. So David Harp, GBM Oldman, Jason up there in the firing line, Scott up there as well, Kulukutu and GT Gavin getting laps in, and but now we're straight on to the sprint race here at Road America. So, James, what are we expecting? Carnage at turn one?
Eye on the lights. Easy with the right foot. Let's nail
David
this.
Harp, if nobody challenges him, they'll be running away as the lights are about to go out.
Green, green, green.
And away they go.
Go, go, go.
So, as we try and get the camera on board all of the drivers, I see David Harp's had a good start. Jason's got himself up into second place, third and fourth side by side, fifth and sixth side by side as well. A bit of contact in the background. I'm not sure who that was, but there's more as the cars spear off to the left, now the right.
Oh, coming back onto the grid and hitting other drivers. A lot of the brake marker boards have just gone flying up in the air.
Yep, GT Gavin was one of those cars involved there, and Adam 4600 was in, may have been caught up in that as well.
Kulukutu and ILTEL got a bit side by side, and now ILTEL in the green and black DTM car is really suffering down towards turn 5.
Well, David Harp's leading the way, but Jason's right behind him with GBM Oldman in third place. Dexter's got a bit of a gap to fourth. Woolhouse in fifth place. And then we've got Vector at sixth. Adam 4600 and a whole gaggle of cars behind him, all going side by side. Stig v Rob a little bit wide. He may have been helped to go a little bit wide, though.
Yeah, these drivers are really, really taking advantage of the fact that you can do a little bit of rubbing with these cars, unlike in Formula 1.
Yep, that is definitely true. So we'll have a quick look back up at the front though. Dave the Harp still leading the way. A bit of a gap now to Jason. And I tell you what, Jason, I don't think he's going to find it easy to get past Dave the Harp. I mean, Dave the Harp's harder to pass than a kidney stone, to be honest.
Yeah, Mulrine and backwards, it looks like there's a bit of a train going on from P7 back. It's all kicking off back there.
Yeah, Mulrine and Adam 4600. Mulrine touched the grass. That may have compromised him a little bit as Kulukutu tries to close the gap. Oh, Mulrine won him wide. He's well wide.
Yeah, that's down to 12.
Oh, and there's two cars off. The camera was slow reacting and following him as he came back onto the track. No, it wasn't him. It's two other cars. May have been trying to avoid him. Have ended up going off. Stig v Rob, though, side by side with Mulrine now.
Yeah, these are for the last few points in the sprint race. The points only go up to P10, so they are really fighting tooth and nail for these points.
That they are. Now, up at the front, Jason second place. He's still got GBM Oldman right behind him in third, and Dex in fourth place. He's going to try close in that gap. Let's see, that's a Woolhouse now in fifth place with a bit of a blurry camera going on here. May have to switch to a different camera. It looks like a driver with a power boost penalty. It was Eltel in the green, yellow and black Merc there, I believe, with a power boost penalty.
One of the black and white DTM's Stig v Rob got all out of shape, and now Scott McFall on the outside of Mulrine heading down towards turn 5, and that's ILTEL just in front of them.
Oh, Scott around the outside. Mulrine looking up the inside of Eltel, but Eltel covers him off. GT Gavin 2's been able to pull away from this gaggle of cars that's still fighting.
Oh. Up at the front, David Hart's had a bit of a moment, and now he's got Jason right up behind him.
Well, I said Dave the Ops is as difficult to pass as a kidney stone, but I'm sure Jason will take every advantage that comes his way. But yeah, a battle for the lead we may have, although there's only a lap and a quarter to go in this sprint race. And we mentioned last week about the long, kinky straights around this circuit where drivers may be using DRS a lot, and that is where the drivers have just come down now. And even here, it's not straight, but if the drivers are able to open that rear wing and get maximum straight line speed from it, well, can you call it straight line speed when it's not a straight? Well, I suppose so, yes. Top end speed, let's put it that way. Yeah, drivers that will be able to use it there are going to benefit more than anybody else.
Yeah, so the last lap for Dave the Hart was a 2:02.4. Jason, it was a 2:01.4. So Jason looks to have a very decent race pace here.
That he does. Dex
Dave's
is still... Go on.
Dave's gone really wide in turn 1. Jason's got a little cheeky run at him down towards turn 2.
Come on, Jason. Come on. You can do it, son. Do us proud. He's got half a chance. I mean, is Dave going to feel pressure from Jason? I mean, interestingly enough, Dave the Harp and Jason are teammates in the Front Row Racing World Series on F1, so I think Jason may have a little bit to prove, but he's just gone a little bit deep there. That could have cost him any chance of attacking for the victory here. Yeah,
indeed. Meanwhile, at the back, we've got GT Gavin having a look at Mulrine, and also we've got Scott McFall under attack from Stig v Rob.
Oh, someone's on the grass.
Mulrine, I think it was, yes, up the inside. I think GT Gavin just took it round the outside of him.
Oh, this is a little bit tense. You're going to have to keep an eye on that battle, James. I want to see where Dave, they've got a few corners to go for the lead. And let's see how these guys are getting on. It's sort of 4 or 5 cars battling for 7th place at the moment. But give us a shout when Dave's getting onto the final straight, because these positions could change at any moment as GT Gavin decides he doesn't like cones either. I think these guys have got a little bit too spread out, so I'm going to jump on board with Dave the Hart. But yeah, I mean, do you think Dave is going to feel any pressure having his F1 teammate behind him? They're not teammates here.
Well, he's been quite vocal of the fact that we've raised the tyre wear from ×3 to ×4, which means they'll wear out quicker, but he's going to win this race, and that's job done for him.
That it is. Dave the Arp takes the victory. Jason 2nd place. GBM Oldman 3rd. And those 3 won't be able to qualify. Dex in 4th. Woolhouse 5th. Let's see. Eltel still running in 6th place as he gets around the final corner now. Mulrine in at 7th place. GT Gavin not too far behind him, but it's 8th place for him. Scott in 9th. And then Stig v Rob down in 10th place with Kulukutu. He dropped a lot of places. Maybe he was one of the cars caught up in the crashes earlier on. 11th place for him. Nightwalker looks like he's going to take 12th place. While GBM Vectra, where is his car? It's got a missing front wheel on it. And Adam 4600, who's dead last, I don't know if he's a lap down or even out of fuel. Is Adam 4600 going to catch GBM Vectra?
Well, I think it's a no-brainer. Even if he runs out of fuel, he'll just be able to roll in front of him. But if they don't, neither of them get on the line. Here he comes!
Look at this super high-speed overtake that's about to take place. What's the chances they end up colliding with each other? Don't slow down your TV, folks. This isn't slow motion. He can't get past. He can't get past her.
A 3-wheel car can beat a 4-wheel car.
Oh,
Adam's on for a tyre.
No, it's not. Has he? Yes, he has. Adam's retired. Oh my god.
It's down to whether if Vector gets over the line, but to be fair, we could set up a new lobby in this time.
Yeah, we could finish the next race, couldn't we? He's about to get overtaken by the cars that are on the way into the pits. This is painful. Here's Dave the Harp, Jason thinking, what are you doing? I mean, I don't know what Vectra's doing here. I mean, Kulukutu showed a few weeks ago in the rallycross race he can drive a car at normal speed with only 3 wheels on it. But yeah, for Vectra and Adam 4600, I think that was very, very painful. But to be honest, that was beautiful to watch. Sorry, guys, but it was.
It is worrying though that drivers such as Adam 4600 ran out of fuel when they've known all week it's going to be a 3-lap sprint race. Let's just hope he puts in enough fuel for the feature race, which will be 15 laps. So, Adam, if you're listening, 15 laps.
Yeah. So, however much fuel you had calculated, add a bit more. But, I mean, having said that, it's very easy to overuse your fuel if you're abusing the limiters, or let's say, for example, you actually have a couple of spins. If you have a spin and you've got to get yourself back into position, like spin yourself around again to get going, that's a little bit extra fuel. If that happens 2 or 3 times, it could be enough to stop you from finishing. But he's not going to be the first to run out of fuel, and well, he isn't the first, and he's not going to be the last either. But yeah, an interesting sprint race there. And obviously we're going to get ready for the feature race now. So there'll be a 10-minute qualifying session where all of the drivers, apart from David Harp, Jason and GBM Oldman, will be able to get their qualifying laps in. Dave, Jason and Oldman will start from at the back of the grid and probably start behind myself and James. So they're going to have to make sure they are careful when they go around us. But I think all 3 of those have got a fantastic opportunity of sort of getting decent results. And I tell you what, GBM Vectra is giving it everything he has got to at least try and finish the race.
He's got 26 seconds.
I don't think he's going to make it. I mean, fair play to him. He hasn't given up. His name's not John Cena. Hashtag respect. Don't give up. Actually, he's just time ran out for him, unfortunately. But yeah, he didn't give up. But yeah. Probably the slowest finish to a race we'll ever see. But it was just... but yeah, so cheers for that, guys. You just cheered me up with that one. Okay, so yeah, like I said, we are going to get ready for the feature race. What we're going to try and do as well is, instead of setting up a new lobby, we're going to try and keep in this lobby and letting James change the tyre wear unless this does not work. Okay, there was a couple of things while James is waiting for it to take us through or back to the lobby, unless it's not going to do that for us.
I don't think it will, so I'm going to go for it and restart the lobby.
Okay, we'll set up a new lobby then. There was a couple of items, topics of things I wanted to discuss with James, with the viewers. Obviously, Front Row Racing ProjectCARS community on PSN and on Facebook has advertised the opportunity for people to apply as FRR ProjectCARS admins, and that offer is still out there. Looking for, if possible, at least 4 people that are interested in getting involved in the admin side of the ProjectCARS League. And well, it'd probably be best if James will repost the information, the poster on the community and Facebook again in the coming days, that shows sort of the requirements. But if you like doing things like commentary, or you think you could do the points, or you've got the full edition of the game and you think you could host lobbies, and you've got good timekeeping, you're reliable, and you can sort of understand the Front Row Racing sort of way of doing things and respect the rules and stuff like that, then yeah, feel free to get in touch with James, myself, or Front Row Racing on Facebook, and show us your interest, and we'll see if you've got what it takes to get involved. And one of the reasons that I'm mentioning that as well is potentially hinting a little bit at changing the Friday community events that K-Slay 1 has been hosting recently. Just reminded James to give me a shout when you've set up send me the new invite. K-Slay 1's been hosting sort of community events on Friday nights, and we're sort of possibly thinking about the idea of turning that into an actual race event, with points, obviously. At the moment, it's not going to be something that we're going to be able to broadcast. However, people will be able to race and obviously compete and score points. And more information will come out about that as soon as we can sort of confirm further details. But yeah, sorry, go on.
It's just been sent.
Okay. Yeah. So when we can confirm potential details, we'll do that when we can. But one of the reasons that I'm sort of hinting at it and mentioning it is that sort of not being able to broadcast it at the moment is one of the reasons why the Project Cars side of things is looking for people that are interested in getting involved in commentary and interested in getting involved in broadcasting and the admin side of things, so that if, let's say, for example, those Friday community events does turn into, let's see if we can do another sort of proper race event, then it would be nice to have people that could broadcast it and do commentary on it and do the points on it and things like that. At the end of the day, as committed as James and myself are and have been, we can't broadcast and commentate all the time. And I wouldn't be surprised, James, if every now and again you'd like to actually go and have a race.
Yeah, that would be nice. But as we've said before, if people are thinking, oh well, I don't really want to be an admin because you can't then race, you can. You could, if we opened it up to a Friday and a Sunday, you could pick and choose. You could go, right, okay, I prefer the cars that they run on a Sunday, or let's say I prefer the cars they run on a Friday. I could host the lobby and live stream on the opposite day.
Yeah, I mean, it may sound a little bit, I was going to say cheeky, but it is one of those things. I mean, let's say, for example, if I say, okay, James, because I'm broadcasting on the Sundays, I'd like to compete in the races on the Friday. There's more chance of you going, okay, the first name on my list for Friday drivers is Front Row Racing DP because he broadcasts the Sunday event for us. There's nothing wrong with the admins doing that. It's not sort of you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's more a case of you take out your own time to help out the league, and as a part of that, we'll confirm you a slot on another race. It's a little things like, for example, Ardington. He's someone that's been involved in front row racing for a long time ago, and the reason he stopped was unfortunate for him. So when his name pops up as, hi Dave, I'd like to get involved in racing again, okay, yeah, no worries, we know him. It's kind of there's a history there. So yeah, if you're interested in getting involved in commentary, broadcasting, that kind of stuff, get involved. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to race. I mean, some of the things that might be able to happen with the Friday events, obviously with the Sunday events, we like the idea of having reserve drivers, and sometimes it's not easy to go, right, who should we put in, but maybe that's what the Friday event could evolve into. It could be, I don't know, it could be a DTM2, it could be a GT3 car, it could be Renault Clio Cups, and if you're doing really well in that, then people are going to go, he's pretty good. And then your chances of being called on as a reserve are heightened. But yeah, it takes for people to go, you know what, I'm willing to give a little to get a little. But yeah, exactly. So keep an eye out for information on that. James, you're going to have to invite all the drivers in as well. Something else that I want to mention as well. We usually do a question of the day, and I've said to James today, I says, I'm not going to do a question of the day. I'm going to do a thought of the day, and I'm going to drop it on you, because it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit out there. It's Sunday, I've been out in the sun today, it's fried my brain a little bit. So this is kind of like, it's not really involved in racing or anything like that, it's just a random thought. Right, and James says, are you going to give me any kind of hint of what it is? No, I'm going to drop it on you. So are you ready for this, James? Right. Okay. If we look back, say 100, 200 years, and we look at how people lived then, quite often we could sit there and go, well, they weren't very civilised. They were at the height of their modernisation. But looking back, we go, how did they live? I mean, kids today, you'd go, what do you mean dishwashers have only been around for 15 years? What did you do before? Well, you wash it with your hands. It's kind of that mentality. It's like 100, 200 years ago, there wasn't flushable toilets, there wasn't sewer systems, there wasn't hygiene, there wasn't all that kind of stuff. So we look back and go, how did they live? Even looking like cowboys and Indians, it's like, how did these people survive? How did they live? It's uncivilized, right? So now that you've got that
What
thought...
are you trying to say about me?
about you. We're not even going there, James. But no, but I'm just trying to sort of put that thought in your head of, we do sit there and we could look back and go, we're so much further advanced than what they used to be.
Oh, yeah.
So let's take it another step. It's more than possible that in 100, 200 years' time, people then could look back on us in exactly the same way. We don't know what it could be because we're living in the height of modernisation, technology. We are at the peak. So we don't know life will be like in 100, 200 years. Okay. So people then could look back on us and go, how did they live like that? It could easily happen. We just don't know. So having thought about that, here comes the real thought of the day. What would life be like if, let's say, in 100, 200 years, there was no money? Everything was free. Right? Now, this is going to take a little bit to get your head around, and James, let me know when the drivers are in and we'll send them to the track. But I'm going to try and put it to you in a way, because I'm sure James is sat there going, what the bloody hell are you going on about? And you'd be right to think that, right? So, okay, so I'm going to try and take you through a little process, right? Okay, James, you work, yes?
Yeah.
And you work for money.
Yeah.
Now, if everything was free, you wouldn't need the money. Now, you might still work, but you wouldn't get paid for it. That's horrible. You can't do that. But hang on, you don't need the money. So there's more chance of you doing a job that you actually love because you're not dictated by money. But hold on, where do you live? Well, you can live in a house. It's free. Remember, everything's free. But hold on a minute. Who built the house? That costs something. Well, no, it doesn't, because everything is free. Right? Okay, and this is crazy. It's mental. It's madness. So I'm going to put it into a slightly more racing relevant way, because James is sat there thinking, well, oh, but he's totally gone. He's Donington today has broken him, right? So let's say, for example, we wanted to build a racetrack, right? You're going to need land. Well, it's free. You're going to need materials to build it. Well, it's free. Well, you're going to need machines to be able to actually build it. But they're free to get, and they're free for the builder to build. The materials to get, they're free for them. Everything's free. Now, it's a little mental, I know, but keep going with the theory. If you can get it for free, then it doesn't cost anybody anything. So where does the cost factor come in? Who needs the money? Because if everything is free, who needs the money?
I think I've sort of thought about this idea when I was
See,
a
I'm
kid.
not completely mental.
Thinking about, you know, when, let's say, all the drivers are in the lobby, we can send them to the
Yeah, send them to the track, quick.
This might go on a while. You know when America and Russia were banging on about the space race in the 50s, 60s, 70s?
Yep.
Now, they always used to go, oh, well, we're spending so many billions and all this lot. Well, at the end of the day, where does all the money come from in the first place? Somebody must be there at the top end of the echelons of government going, well, we own so much money.
We're going to give you this money. But not only that, who's at the other end saying, you need to give me this money? Now, it's all for product. But if that product is free, then there is no need for money.
I mean, the governments today, I mean, even the UK, they bang on about the deficit. Who are they paying back? That's what I want.
Yeah. I mean, I told you, it's totally out there, I know, and people are going to think that I have totally lost it. But this is what the little sort of thought of the day started off with. Looking back 100, 200 years, we look and think, how on earth did they live? But they didn't know any better. And we're in that same sort of situation. People in 200 years could look back on us and go, how did they live? And that's something that could actually happen in 100, 200 years. They could abolish money. Now, we couldn't fathom it. It just would not compute. But it doesn't mean that another civilization couldn't make it work and make humanity better for it.
I mean, there's one thing that I thought of when I was a kid, and I thought, well, when they invent robots, you could literally just buy a robot and then make it go and do work for you. But who in the right mind would then pay a robot for a job a human will do in the future?
Well, the thing is, you say that. I mean, I've had this argument with my dad a few times. I mean, you take a car manufacturer. I won't name any, but you take any car manufacturer and you look at the big robots, the robot arms they have that build cars. I mean, I've been in a few car manufacturers, and it's unbelievable. The workforce is mainly machines, but there is obviously a massive human factor there as well. However, the way I see it is, every single one of those machines that is doing a job quicker, faster, cheaper, more reliably than a human is taking a job away from not one human, but many. So yes, the robot arms can do the job quicker, faster, cheaper, blah, 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 but they have taken a job away from somebody. Now, my sort of whole everything is free concept is one that's actually, it's really difficult to get your head around it. And if anyone could actually work out who it is, who is at the end of the chain that receives that money, and I don't just mean government, who is it that is at that end of the chain that needs the money that has the knock-on effect for every single one of us? I mean, let's put it this way. You abolish money, you abolish poverty, you abolish starvation, because food is free. Nobody would ever starve again. You might have to put limits on how much people can eat because they'd end up all being obese. But it's something, if you really actually think about it, it's something that could bug you for a while. It's bugged me for a couple of weeks since I first thought of it, and to a degree I wish I never had. But anyway, let's focus on what's going on the track now, shall we? Because that I told you, James, I wasn't going to pre-warn you about it. Was that sideways enough for you?
That was some of the thoughts that I used to have as a kid. And that's
cheers.
probably why I didn't do very well at school. Because I was probably spending more time thinking about things like that than 2 + 2 = 4. You know what I mean? That's probably where I went wrong. But no, I fully agree, because, I mean, this is going to throw another curveball at you. At the end of the day, we're all going to have to, at some point, have no money, because these companies will end up buying so many robots that humans will go out of humans will be obsolete. So humans will have to make money in another way, but how will they make money when companies will just turn around and go, well, we can get a robot that does 20 times as much product as you do?
Yeah. But anyway, okay, Road America. We're 4 minutes into this qualifying session. I'm watching Kulukutu at the moment because he's been interesting last season and this season. Something tells me that this conversation we've just started here could creep on throughout the season.
Do you know something that a robot can't do, though, Dave?
Wipe its own backside?
No, commentate. Now,
I got. I'm sure there's a few.
GT Gavin rolling backwards down the circuit, completely lost control there, and if he's wanting to get a time on the board, that's completely scuppered that effort.
Well, I'm still watching Kulukutu here, and he's got a car right behind him. And that car, I think, is actually getting held up a little bit now. But Kulukutu is well within his rights to just continue on his lap. And that's exactly what he is going to do. What's his lap time going to be? He's trying to actually break the slipstream for the car behind it. Second place with a 2:03. Let's see who's in first. Dex, who finished the sprint race in 4th place, is on provisional pole position. Is very close though. 0.4 of a second between himself and Kulukutu. Out of 4600s in 3rd at the moment. And it was Eltel, I believe, that was being held up, perhaps a little bit by Kulukutu. And it looks like he is going on for another lap. Yeah, I mean, he's done a 2:07, so I think he may have lost a lot of time on that first lap. Yeah,
indeed. The sun is starting to crack the flags, as they'd say up in Yorkshire. And, all these American fans out here hopefully looking forward to a good show. But the lap times, compared to what Dave the Hart did in the sprint race, they were in the low 2-minute deads. and these are running around with a 203. Now that could also be due to the high tyre wear that they've got with these tyres.
That is very, very true. I mean, higher tyre wear, they pushed it. I mean, it's a long lap here, so if they push the tyres too hard on the out lap, they may not have peak tyre ability for their actual qualifying lap. The likes of El Tal, who's going on for what looks like a second flying lap here, mainly because he was compromised on the first lap, may not be able to get the maximum out of the tyres. Also, there's the possibility, James, I mean, there is different tyre compounds on these cars. I mean, drivers may be looking at using the harder tyre in qualifying here to see how they go on. As the car ahead of El Tal has a bit of a moment. El Tal, yeah, runs a little bit wide there. The car ahead's far enough ahead to... Oh no, he's off into the barrier. That's his lap over. Oh dear, oh dear. And while he's been doing that, Scott, he's got himself into 4th place with a 2:05, and he's looks like he's on another flying lap as well with 3 minutes left of this qualifying session. I was just going to mention, after this qualifying session as well, there should be a 5-minute warm-up just to give the drivers a chance to get their strategies and fuel sorted out for the race. James, I'm just wondering, is Dex still sitting on pole position, or is...
he currently is, and he's got the best Sector 1 time. Nobody else seems to be on a super flying lap. GBM Vectra is sat in the pit lane. It looks to me like people have just given up here. GT Gavin's just starting a flying lap now.
Okay, Scott has just improved on his lap, but not enough to improve from 4th place. Let's see, Stig v Rob, he's currently sitting in 6th on a 2:08, so he will be wanting to improve on that. But the drivers are going to have to remember that to get their last flying lap in, they need to be crossing the line now, because if they're not crossing the line now, they're not getting another lap in. When that timer gets to 0, their qualifying lap gets to 0 as well. And it sounds like Stig v Rob has backed out of it. And I tell you what, James, that looks like spots of rain on my camera lens here.
Well, that's thrown the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it? The drivers have been informed to expect light showers. So, yeah, I think the drivers will not be looking forward to these conditions. And if they're on the lap currently, it's game over.
I'm hoping the microphone didn't pick up what just happened there. If it did, I apologise. Kulakutu, he's still out on track trying to complete a lap, but I think he's just realised, having gone round that particular corner, that he's not going to improve. And if the rain comes down as hard as it did for us at Donington today, the cars are about to get very, very wet. And something I want to mention as well, actually, I haven't watched today's Formula 1, so please no spoilers on that. I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't watched it either, James. If you have, I'm jealous. Oh, he has. He's watched it. Oh, now I don't feel so bad for bringing up my thought of the day. So yeah, no spoilers. However,
no.
People tend to think it never really rains at Bahrain, right? However,
I've seen it once in a practice session.
Well, I'm involved in a race series, and we use live weather, real weather. And if today's F1 race had been hosted 2 weeks ago, it would have pretty much been held in monsoon conditions. I mean, I couldn't believe that it rained there, but yeah, it rained hard. Okay, 16 seconds to go. It looks like our qualifying order has pretty much been confirmed then. Dex, he's going to take pole position for the feature race here at Road America. And I tell you what, I think he deserves it. Quite often we see the person who finishes in 4th in the sprint race take pole position in the feature race, and that is exactly what Dex has done. And James, I think we've lost a driver.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Work out who that is.
Okay, so I'll just run through the grid order. Dex on pole, Kulakutu 2nd, Anna 4600 3rd, Scott 4th, GT Gavin 5th, El Tel 6th, Stig v Rob 7th, Mulrine 8th, and it's Nightwalker that we have lost from the grid. We'll try and invite him back in during this warm-up session now.
Yep. So the drivers back to dry weather for the start of this session, so that tells me that the start of the race will probably be dry as well, as it usually starts with the same set of weather. But if they go into the race and it starts raining, not a lot of drivers there seem to experience the wet weather conditions. So really, if you haven't practiced already with the wets, it may be a bit of an Achilles heel. It's always worth if the weather is sometimes confirmed as possible showers. Always test, as you could find heaps of time.
Definitely. And also, I mean, with possible showers, it doesn't necessarily mean that showers may come. I mean, I remember a race a few seasons ago where it was possible light showers, and I think it rained and dried up about 5 times in 20 minutes. It was absolute mental. Do you remember that one, James?
Yeah, I am. I'm just casting my mind back now.
It was a few seasons ago. We're getting old, and we're having crazy theories about the future. And if anyone wants to comment on the thought of the day, feel free to add your thoughts. And if your comment is, you know what, you're mental, then that's fine. If that's what you want to think, that's fine. But it doesn't mean that stuff like that couldn't happen in the future. I mean, I know you're a little bit of a geek, James, and I know you kind of like space stuff, right? I mean, I do. I mean, for example, I sent James. I wanted to mention this actually. When was it? Last season, I mentioned. But one of the questions of the day is, what was the jigsaw puzzle that I'm doing? I actually sent James the video of the completed jigsaw puzzle. I hadn't peed on it. No, the completed jigsaw puzzle, and it was pretty good, isn't it, James? It's quite an impressive picture.
Yeah, it was. Apart from the golden shower on it, yeah, it was great.
I wondered what you were going to say then. There was no showers on it. Although, I mean, I was rained on so hard today and got so wet today, the best way I could dry off and warm up was to have a shower. But there we go. I tell you what, for GBM Oldman, though, Dave the Harp and Jason, what do you think their chances are, James, as we look at a few rather large RVs, which is no surprise here in America? What do you think their chances are of working their way through the order here in the 15-lap feature race?
Well, we did see that Dave the Harp in that sprint race, even though he'd managed to get in front of Jason, it wasn't as though he were just breezing off into the distance. He was clearly under pressure from Jason.
He definitely was. Kulukutu, he's testing a bit of slipstream here by the looks of things, as we're just under 2 minutes left of the warm-up session.
Yeah, he's definitely got some straight line speed there.
He has, hasn't he? Side by side, he goes a little twitchy.
Don't break on the grass.
Yeah, another one that doesn't like cones. Yeah, see you later, cone. It almost looked like a lightsaber being flicked up by an overconfident Jedi then. And obviously, you don't really want to catch your lightsaber on the wrong end, do you? But there we go.
Oh, definitely not.
Definitely not. Oh, Kulakutu! There we go. Nice spin. Oh, rear wing damage. Destroyed the grass. But at least now he knows not to get onto that exit curb on that corner. There's those RVs again. Let's have a look. What are we spotting in the trees? Any pigeons? Oh, nice paintwork on that particular camper van.
Ooh, somebody's off. I'm just trying to work out who that was. Green and white livery there.
Oh, my camera's going somewhere flying through the paddock.
It was Woolhouse. Don't know what he was up to there, but his front end's looking a bit second-hand there.
I don't know if my cameraman is in a helicopter or is the camera is attached to a jet, but he's speeding up as he's flying through the paddock. I'm going to have to change on to somebody else. Okay, change on to somebody else, and we're going the other way. Oh no, we're going the other way down the paddock. Oh my God. you have no idea, James, what's going on here. This is rather mental. This is almost as crazy as...
I've got a shot of Jason from about 2 miles away. I think I may have the same situation. I'm just currently watching Jason coming over the start finish. It's actually not a bad camera angle, that, but yeah, completely about a 2 mile away shot there. The cameraman did well to focus that.
Well, every camera angle I've got at the moment is of loads of RVs and cars. Oh, there we go. Oh, I've managed to see a car in the distance, and that's the warm-up session over. Apologies for not being able to show you anything else towards the end of that warm-up session, but my cameraman was, he was, I think he was testing out one of those new zip wires you see on pit lanes every now and again. But anyway, it's time for the feature race. The qualifying order has already been set. Disconnected, hopefully he was able to get back in. I don't think he was able to, but the drivers now are going to get ready to start the feature race here, and away they go. We'll get retired and onto the cameras as quickly as we can. Or Jason, he's had a flyer. He's up to 7th place already. I don't know if he's going to have a jump start penalty on that one, but oh my days, he's gained a few places there.
The car off down at turn 1, GT Gavin, and let's work out who that was.
Jason's in second!
Jason, how the hell's it got up to second?
Well, I think somebody wiping everybody out at turn 1 has helped, but yeah, Jason up to second place. Adam 4600 always losing loads of time now.
Sorry, no, it's Mulrine up to P3, and that looks like Woolhouse has just overtaken Stig V Rob.
He has, but who's that? Is that Dex? Did Dex have a problem at the start? Did somebody give him a bit of a nudge?
I think somebody gave him a good old shove off the circuit as David Hart down in 12th place. He's just side by side with Scott McFall coming up the hill, and can he get up the inside of ILTEL? Oh, he's shoved him wide.
Oh, 3 wide, nearly 4 wide. But yeah, Dave the Hart fighting down in 11th place, while Jason, his F1 teammate, has just said, see you later, I'm gone.
Yeah, Kulukutu now out in front. Will the pressure get to him, or can he hold on to this?
Is that Adam 4600 in the barrier? Yes, it is. Oh my days. He has some bad luck, does that boy?
Yeah, up in the midfield, I think Oldman is very close to Mulrine. Oh, there's a car off in front. I think that's Kulukutu. No, it's Mulrine.
Oh!
Yes, Stig V Rob.
And Oldman was unlucky there. Oldman clipped the back of Kulukutu. That put him into the barrier. Oh, and 2 cars have gone either side of him, and one of them was on the grass.
Yeah, Dave, they are now up into P8 on the back of Scott.
This is an absolute this is more of a sprint race than the sprint race for an opening few laps.
Jason up at the front has got a nice bit of slipstream on Kulukutu. Can he overtake down into turn 1?
Well, he's got a half a chance. He's got a nice healthy gap back to Woolhouse, so all he needs to do is focus on Kulukutu in the lead here. So it wasn't Kulukutu that had an off. Jason's got a fantastic run. DRS will be wide open. Kulukutu squeezing him a little bit, but Jason looking up the inside. Oh, since when have you seen Jason get his elbows out? It's not often. Has somebody taken over his controller? Has a Razor stolen his username and come on for a race for him?
Talking of getting your elbows out, GT Gavin's just shoved his way through into P4. David Hart's still down in P7.
Oh, Kulukutu nearly did what we saw him do in practice. Bit of a switchback. Oh, and he's getting his elbows out now. I like it.
There. Yeah, very nice. GT Gavin under pressure as Dave Hart seems to be shoving the field up towards P3, which will be Mulrine.
Spinner! Yeah. Sorry, Scott, just in that gaggle of cars. He's lost it a little bit. GT Gavin too runs a little bit wide, but yeah, he's got Dex behind him. Now, Dex, I do know, was furious after last round at Spain. Felt that he got shunted off in both races, cost him a fantastic...
Jason. Oh. Sorry, Jason up at the front. He's so close. He's trying to push Kulukutu along down the road.
Oh, Jason having a look around the outside. Kulukutu going to 2 wheels. He'll be fine on 2 wheels. We've seen him drive on 3 and he was still fairly quick. I'm sure he'll be fine on 2.
Kulukutu defending fresh air there. He's gone a bit deep, and that will give Jason a sniff.
This would be fantastic. Come on, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't care which one of these two would win a race, but it would be absolutely fantastic if either one of these guys could win the race. Jason's got a fantastic opportunity. Look how close he is. He could almost knock that rear wing off, and I've got a dodgy camera angle again. I don't want to see RVs, I want to see overtakes.
Yeah, and in the background, David Hart looks like he may be making his move up to P5 on Dex.
Oh, Jason. Oh, getting his elbows out again. Moves Kulukutu out towards the outside of the track and goes around the inside of him. Both of these guys getting their shoulders out, and they're side by side around turn 2. Kulukutu on the curb, and he manages to take the place. In the background, I saw there was a battle going on, and there is Mulrine. Is he under attack? Yes, he is, from GT Gavin.
GT Gavin and Dave, they're going to go 3 wide down towards turn 4.
Oh, there's going to be no room here. Dave's been boxed in.
Jason's off in the front. He's just smacked into the wall, and Kulukutu's got a nice gap now.
Oh, and here comes Mulrine and the charging drivers behind him of GT Gavin, Dave the Harp and Dex. Oh no, GT Gavin's gone wide. No, it was Mulrine that went wide.
Dex up the inside. What a lovely move.
No, he's
there.
not. He's off into the gravel. He got a nudge.
And that's Dave the Harp up to P4 now.
He may have even got a power boost penalty, but yeah, that's Dex from pole position down to 6th, up to 4th, down to 6th.
So now Kulukutu's got a nice gap. He can concentrate, just think about making these tyres go as long as they can. Jason's in P2 with a bit of a gap back to GT Gavin, and Dave the Harp in P4. Can he close in? I think he can. He's got a lot of straight line speed on Gavin now.
He's already gaining on. Look at that straight line speed on the not so straight bit of the track. Elbows getting out again on both drivers again. I mean,
Dave, can he hold on to
no,
it?
he's all over the curb.
Just straddled the curb, but managed to wrestle the car through the corner.
Here comes GT Gavin having a look. And who's that right behind? Is that GBM Oldman or is that Mulrine?
It's Mulrine, P5.
Oh,
Gavin's got a good run back. Gavin over the line, he's just got back into P3. Mulrine's in the slipstream, but Dave the Harp is going back up the inside.
A lovely little move, catching a little bit of slipstream there to get that little bit of boost and get the move done.
But has he gone too deep in turn 1? No, he's managed to hold on to it. And GT Gavin, is he going to get back in the slipstream down towards turn 4?
What a fantastic race we've got going on here, and these guys aren't that far away from Jason, and I think Jason might be catching Kulukutu. I mean, Kulukutu and Jason, they're kind of in a bit of a new situation for themselves. The problem is they've got Dave the Harp trying to catch them up, and really the guys up at the front need Dave the Harp to be challenged by GT Gavin to give those guys up at the front a little bit more of a breather.
Yeah, Jason looks like, since he's had that good old whack into the wall, his pace is just slightly dropping off now. Kulukutu's been able to stretch his
Someone's in the
legs out
barrier!
front.
Someone's in the barrier! Who was that? Is it Dex?
Mulrine. He was running in P5, he's now down to P8, and he's got damage, and that's Vectra through, and he's down to P9 now. Yeah, he's got a lot of damage.
He's going to need to make an early pit stop then, and this level, oh, I'll tell you what, it could come at exactly the right time, because that's spots of rain, and those spots of rain are turning into splashes of rain. So if he needs to pit for repairs, this probably couldn't have come at a better time. Get in the pits, fix your damage, pop on some wet weather tyres. And Jason, though, he's coming under pressure. Dave the Harp, what speed! Where did that come from?
He just absolutely minced him. A little bit of a damp patch, and Jason couldn't get the traction on. I think all the drivers need to be heading straight into the pit lane.
I mean, having said that, James, I mean, I've not driven on ProjectCARS for a long time. Yeah, I mean, you see rain dropping a little bit like this, do you not gamble? You just get in there, wet tyres straight away?
Just get in there. The circuit's already glazed over, and Kulukutu's in the pit.
So's Dave the Harp. And Jason. And GT Gavin. Woolhouse, is he on his way into the pits? Yes, he is. Dex, he's following him in. Oh my god, this is going to be the busiest pit lane we've ever seen.
Vectra's gone off. He's just given up position to ILTEL by trying to do a little bit of lawn mowing, as Vectra's trying a bit of it as well. Oh, Mulrine's in the wall. He's lost it at the final corner.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, Kulukutu, he was the first into the pits. He's going to be the first out of the pits as well. Yes, by the looks of it, he was ahead of Dave the Harp. Look at all these cars in the pit lane. None of them gambling, going any further. Let's see, Dave the Harp, he's going to come out in second place. Is Jason on the move? Yes, Jason's on the move, not too far behind Dave the Harp. So the front three are going to exit the pits as they entered it. Woolhouse, he's got himself up to 4th place. He's gained a position. Dex, he's in 5th. Scott, he's 6th. Eltel, 7th, but stationary at the moment, now on the move, just ahead of GT Gavin too.
Something tells me Woolhouse hasn't put the right tyres on. He's come straight out of the pits and straight on at turn 1.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, Kulakutu, pressure's on you, my friend. Not often you've been in the lead in a Front Row Racing Project Cars race, but you've led every lap so far in this feature race. How are you going to cope in these conditions? It looks like the rain's getting harder as well.
Ooh, Scott's off, down at turn 2.
Ooh, tricky conditions, tricky car in these conditions. Eltel and GT Gavin too, struggling in these conditions as well, and they can see Scott ahead of them as they begin to catch him up. Scott could be a bit of a sitting duck here, especially if he is on the wrong compound of tyre. Dex is catching up to the back of Wallhouse, and Dex, he's still going to be on a raging charge.
Yeah, it looks to me as though Kulukutu in these conditions is not favouring them at all, losing heaps of time, and Dave the Harp is just mincing towards him.
That he is. Now, I have seen on YouTube somebody asking if thought of the day is the same as question of the day. You know what? I'm not going to repeat it. It'd take us half an hour. What I would say is skip back the. Oh dear, is he? That's a big position loss then. That's let Dex through to 4th place. Is Wallace? He's off again. He's off again. GT Gavin.
Yeah, he's definitely on the slicks.
Yeah, GT Gavin and Eltel are coming after him as well now.
Kulukutu really under pressure now. He's gone wide. And Dave is just cool, calm and collected, closing in towards him.
It looks like Kulukutu is on potentially on wet weather tyres, but his car, I mean, I know he's on a controller, but his car is twitchy as hell. Is he heading back to the pits? Has he put the right tyres on? No. He's not heading to the pits.
Jason's still in the frame. He can see the two of them in front. Can he put the pass behind him of that little moment and try and claw back onto the coattails of Dave the Harp as Kulukutu's heading down towards turn 1?
Yep, Kulukutu's definitely struggling in the corners. Dave the Harp's on him already. So Dave the Harp potentially on for, what it'd be, back-to-back wins again, wouldn't it?
Well, it would, yeah. He's going to be absolutely running away with this, but it looks to me as though the rain is definitely stopping now.
Which, if you're one of those guys that potentially has had the wrong tyres on the car, this could work out for you.
Yeah, we've got Woolhouse, Scott and Mulrine back in the pit lane, and looks to me around the back end of the circuit, it's bone dry around there. Oh,
I hope they've not gone to put a set of wet tyres on now, because if they have, they're going to come out of the pits and realise, hang on a minute, it's not raining anymore, I'm going to need dry tyres.
Yep, so Kulukutu and Dave Hart round turn 6, it's definitely a little bit damp around the first half of the circuit, but as they head round towards the final few corners, it's looking very, very bone dry as the sun is beating down back on the circuit.
It definitely is. Okay, just to touch on thought of the day again. Yeah, if you skip back to the end of, skip back on the video to the end of the sprint race, just as we're sort of setting the lobby up and going into the qualifying session for the feature race. Thought of the day is talked about there. It's a bit of a weird one, so I'll just let you guys go back and have a watch of that one. But I'll tell you what though, since the tracks begin to dry up a little bit, Dave the Harp's dropping off a little bit from Kulukutu.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kulukutu definitely preferring drier conditions. I'm just having a quick look.
Yeah,
Jason in 3rd place. He's going to have to be careful because Dex, he's ran a little bit wide. Dex
is closing.
He's on a charge.
Kulukutu back in the pit lane, no surprise there. Dave the Hart following him in. Jason, what's he going to do? I think he's going to do the same. Everybody needs to get back in the pit lane if they're not already on slicks.
Well, Kulukutu, I was say he's lost the position, but it's only to Dave the Harp who's ahead of him in the pit lane. This is where I was saying, yeah, anybody that either accidentally stayed on slicks or whatever, if they'd been able to hang it out, would have gained. GT Gavin heading into the pits. Eltel coming around the final corner. Is he going to be heading into the pits? Yes, he is. GBM Vectra, he's heading into the pits as well. Woolhouse, he's still out there on track at the moment. He's got a little bit of a way to go before he gets to the pits. Kulukutu is going to, as we look at a tent, going to return. Go on, what have you got?
Just watch Stig v Robin P10 with Scott chasing onto the back of him. Almost lost it. I think Scott may be on slicks and Stig may still be on the intermediate tyre.
Well, Scott is catching him rapidly at the moment, but looking a little bit cautious into the corners. Something I want to quickly mention though, James, I mean, I asked you, the rain's falling as it was at that time, do you just go and stick a set of wet tyres on? You said yes, but it turns out you'd be better off staying on the slicks. Oh, Scott runs wide.
Yeah, just to let you know though, my audio of you is going very bad, so hopefully we're not going to get a disconnection like we did last weekend. Hopefully it'll sort itself out.
Oh, Kulukutu, he's made a little bit of a mistake. That's allowed Dave the Harp to catch up to the back of him.
Vectra and Mulrine were side by side coming through turn 1. I think Mulrine has...
We're about to have a lead change. We're about to have a lead change. Dave the Hart with much greater exit of a corner. Kulukutu fighting the inside. Ooh. Dave has been upside down in that corner before, hasn't he, James?
I think it was a corner before that.
All right, okay.
In the next 30 minutes.
Oh, whisper in my ear from my race engineer that there's rain expected in 30 minutes. However, I don't think this race is going to still be going in 30 minutes, but what might still be going is Dave the Harp's charge to get past Kulukutu.
Yeah. This is his chance. Which side is going to go? He's going to go to the outside on the right-hand side. Kulukutu leaving just enough space, but now he's squeezing across. Dave will not be impressed with that Verstappen move there. And
he's gone wide. He's lost it.
Completely lost it. And is this Dave the Hart running away with 80-point lead over the rest of the field? It's going to be, 80 points in total he'll have if he finishes in this position.
Yeah, and a little bit like with Kulukutu, whose pace picked up as the track got drier. Jason, much more comfortable on dry tyres on a dry track as well. Open up a little bit of a gap now between himself and Dex in 4th place.
Woolhouse is out of the race.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's unfortunate for Woolhouse. The field is quite spread now for most of it. Just having a quick flick through. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like most of the field is quite spread out now. So we may have our main battle being, is Jason going to catch Kulukutu? Is Dex going to catch back up to Jason?
Yeah, it looks to me as though Dex has definitely got better pace than Jason in dry conditions.
Well, Dave now leading the race. He can kind of go into cruise mode, so to speak. I must admit, that bit of contact that Jason had with the barrier, I think that cost him the chance of a win, you know. If he'd have been able to get a move done on Kulukutu and open up a little bit of a gap, then it would have given Dave a harder fight to get into 2nd place and have to hunt Jason down. And Jason is catching Kulukutu. I can't tell just how quickly, but it does look like that gap is coming down. But yeah, I mean, that was Jason's sort of opportunity, and unfortunately it went. However, the way his race is going at the moment, he's still on for a podium. However, I mean, if these guys have gone for the hard compound tyres, they may get to the end. If they've gone for soft compound tyres, they ain't getting to the end. They're going to have another pit stop to do.
Another bit of bad news for you. ILTEL has crashed out of the race. I think his front right tyre was just hanging off, so he's unfortunately heading back towards the pit lane.
Oh dear, that's massively unfortunate for Eltel, who was on the podium last week in Spain in the feature race. Had a fantastic reserve drive there and looked like he was going to be on for another decent one, but unfortunately not to be. But I mean, I'm looking at Dex at the moment though, and he's a driver sort of a lot like Kulukutu, where if he can avoid whatever happens at turn 1, he has a fantastic opportunity to fight for victories. If he gets caught up in anything that happens at turn 1, the opportunity for that fight becomes much more difficult.
Yeah, I'm just having a look, and GT Gavin's just quietly made his way through the field to P5. But he's a mile off P4 currently. I think he's probably about 12 seconds off of P4, which is Dex.
Yeah. Well, I've just watched Mulrine do a nice little bit of drifting. Bit of a gap between 6th place and Mulrine, and a bit of a gap between Mulrine and GBM Oldman here in 8th place. But Oldman, he had a massive crash in those opening few laps when he clipped the back of a car who had just had an accident. So I mean that compromised his race massively. So of the 3 drivers that started at the back of the grid, one is now leading the race, the other is in 3rd place, and the other's in 8th. Stig v Rob is sitting in 9th place, trying to catch up to GBM Oldman. Scott is not that far behind Stig v Rob. However, these guys were a hell of a lot closer before the last round of pit stops, and Eltel's race is over, unfortunately. So, quick look back up at the front then. Yeah,
it looks to me so obviously with 4 drivers that have unfortunately either had connection issues or they've gone and totaled the car in them wet weather conditions. The field has spread out a fair chunk, but as you said, there could still be a possibility of some more rain. But
second!
To me,
second and third, they're right next to each other. Oh, and you were talking about the possibility of rain, and what is that hitting my screen?
And who's out in front? Dave the Harp, and he hasn't pitted.
So Dave the Harp, he's going to have a whole lap to do, but having seen what we saw earlier on, is this a bad gamble? Is this for... would this have been a regular pit stop?
I think they've seen the spots of rain. They know how quickly it came down the first time, and they're probably anticipating, well, if it were that heavy the first year, it's definitely heavy. And Dave the Harp, it's all about keeping it on the black stuff now, trying to use his deft touch on the right pedal, making sure that he doesn't spin this up, because this could be the lead of the race going for him if he spins it.
The thing is, he's in a right tricky situation now, because if the weather happens like it did earlier on, stay out on the dry tyre. But if you do that and it keeps raining, he's going off, he's off, he's in the gravel.
Yeah, he just needs to play it cool, because he knows, I think the thing that's probably bugging him the most is knowing that everybody else jumped straight into the pit lane, and I think it only just started raining as he passed the start-finish line.
Well, Dex carried on as well. Jason's come out in 3rd place. Kulukutu has come out in 4th place. I don't know if something has happened to Kulukutu on the exit of the pits, but Jason is now in 3rd, which is potentially net 2nd if Dave and Dex pit.
So Dave, he just needs to hold on to this now. No wiggles on the steering wheel. He's got the pace. Even if he comes out of the pit lane in 4th place, he's definitely got the pace to take the fight back to them.
I was talking a moment ago about a tricky decision to make potentially.
Dave's lost it there. Just banged into the wall, but it wasn't too bad, I don't think.
Well, I was just saying, a tricky decision to make, and I tell you what, Scott, he was going for the pits and then decided at the last moment, no, I'm going to stay out, and I think it may have been the wrong call, unless he's still on wet tyres. Dave the Harp is so slow around the final corner. I think really you've got no choice but to go for the wet tyre. Sod's law. Oh no, he spun it!
Oh, he is going to be absolutely foaming. He's reset, and luckily there's nobody behind him, but he can't get back into the pit lane.
No, he can't. He's got to go for another lap. Dex is into the pits. Jason, where are you? Are you going to be able to overtake either Dex or Dave the Harp here? He's a long, long way from Dave the Harp at the moment, but Jason's on the wet compound tyre.
So
James,
Dave the Harp.
Sorry, I was going to say, have a look at what his last lap time was.
Who am I looking at? Apologies for that.
Sorry, Dave the Harp. Dave the Harp's last lap time.
2 minutes and 2 seconds. Bear in mind, Jason's just going over the line, and that's including a pit stop. It was 2 minutes and 4 seconds. It was only 2 seconds slower, but the rain is stopping now. Dave, this could be falling back into Dave the Harp's hands here.
Well, this is the thing. If it does dry up, Dave just needs to keep going.
Yeah, I think it's really a bit of a head screw, this one. A lot of the drivers now probably on intermediate tyres, wishing they were on slicks, and Dave the Harp had that moment thinking, I need to get in the pit lane, and really he saved his bacon by the car spinning out.
It did, because it has now stopped raining. There is a car behind Dave the Hart, but it's not a car for position. But for Jason, who's running in second place, he's now going to have to think about pitting for a set of slick tyres. Kulukutu, he's in third and may have to do the same.
The one thing for me is there's still 5 laps remaining. Dave the Hart's been on these tyres since lap 5, I think. Lap 5, so they've got plenty of wear on them. I don't think he'll be able to get to the end of the race on these tyres. He's still got to do a pit stop.
Well, let's see if he's going to head towards the pit lane. But yeah, I mean, you're right there. I mean, we were thinking that, I mean, if you're running the slicks from sort of laps or what, 10 remaining onwards, then you probably are looking at, if you were on slicks, you'd have to make at least one pit stop. So yeah, he may just have to do it and go for it, but no, he is continuing on. He can obviously see what the gap is between himself and Jason. And who is that behind Jason? Is that a car catching him for position? Yes, it is. It's Kulukutu.
GT Gavin now up to 4th place, doing a tremendous job, a fair way off P2 and 3 who are heading into the pit lane. But yeah, he just needs to keep his head down. Dave the Harp, master stroke there from spinning out.
Master stroke. How can you call messing up a master stroke? You know, I'll plan that. GT Gavin into the pits as well. Dex back into the pits, and unfortunately he'd only recently pitted.
Scott's just spun out. Bit of a weird one. Say it's dry conditions now, but maybe them intermediates have just completely burnt up on Scott's car.
Yep. Although it may not be on the wet tyres at the moment. It's looking at as white marked tyres on my screen, but then we can't trust that, as we've seen previously. Let's see, GBM Oldman running in 7th place at the moment. Mulrine only the carousel behind him. GBM Vectra not too far behind him either, so those guys could close up again. Stig v Rob, I tell you what, Stig v Rob is behind Dave the Arp, and he's just as quick as him at the moment.
Yeah, I think Dave the Arp is just pushing these tyres as far as they go, but once they go over the cliff with cliff with no grip, it'll be like as if they're on ice. So he's experienced the car in wet conditions earlier with slick tyres. He just needs to hold on now. But 4 laps remaining. Dave Hart's probably got about half, about half the length of the full circuit to himself now. So if he makes a mistake, it's at least he's got a little bit of time in his pocket.
That is true. Okay, Kulukutu's dropped off a little bit from the back of Jason at the moment, and as usually shown on a very long track on Project Cars, the field does get spread. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, the weather here has been absolutely bonkers, and I can imagine for the drivers it'd be quite frustrating. I mean, the rain comes down, you go for the wet tyres, so go on.
Sorry, Dex is now up to P4. Gavin, in the wet weather, was in P4. I'm not too sure whether Dex is on the correct tyres here, but he seems to be just holding on to P4 now. Well,
Dex did follow GT Gavin and Jason and Kulukutu into the pit, so maybe he got past him during the pit stops. But yeah, Dex back up to 4th place. Kulukutu, looks like that gap is opening up to him and Jason. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine, I don't know, if I was racing and you're driving along and the rain comes down, you're like, right, let's switch tyres because that's the tyre I need to be on, and then a lap or two later it's like, hang on a minute, it's stopped, right, I need to switch tyres. It's frustrating, but it's weather, that's what happens sometimes. And I mean, how often do you hear people say you've got to be on the right tyre at the right time? But also, in Dave the Arp's case, you need a little bit of luck, because had it pitted him when he was going to pit, he'd have been probably not been in the lead.
Yeah, definitely. Jason now in P2. He's just beginning to get himself comfortable with Kulukutu about a second and a half behind. He just needs to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, as Kulukutu will be past him like a rat up a drain pipe, as GT Gavin is clobbering the curb at turn 1, giving it all he's got, trying to hunt down Dex at turn 2.
You've just said a word there that's going to make me now get you to do an impression. Come on, it's clobbering time. This is proof of how... This is going to tell if you are a geek or not.
Kulukutu's just gone really wide, and Jason, that was very, very close. So when he went wide, sorry, yeah, go on with this geek chat.
Who goes? It's clobbering time. I'll give you a hint. It's in a movie.
If it's a superhero movie, I probably won't.
Oh, you disappoint me, James. You disappoint
Star
me.
Wars, I'll know.
Yeah, Darth Vader goes, it's clobbering time! No, he doesn't.
He does at the end of Rogue One.
Well, yeah, that is true. He kind of does. No, it's clobbering time was, I think his character's name is Thing, I can't remember. Fantastic Four. The original, not quite latest Fantastic Four film, the ones before, with the beautiful Jessica Biel.
So not Fantastic.
No. No. Fantastic Four. I tell you, it's a brilliant movie. It's really, really funny. You should watch it, even if it's just for the lycra suits. But no, it's a good film. I liked it. Sorry, it's not Jessica Biel. It's Jessica Alba that's in that one. Jessica Alba. Anything with Jessica Alba in, I'll happily watch it.
Yeah. I was going to say something else.
Don't. Yeah, you better do, because more than likely your girlfriend is within earshot, and you do not need to get a clip around the ear roll.
Definitely. Now these last two laps are really hotting up with GT Gavin in P5 and Dex in P4. Also, Jason looks to be struggling now with Kulukutu coming right up behind him. Dave Hart has got a massive, massive lead, and yeah, if he loses this lead now, he is going to be foaming. Yeah,
that he is. I see Scott running in 6th place.
Kulukutu's got a run. Kulukutu's got a right run. He's trying it round the outside of Jason. Jason ran wide, and Kulukutu's up to P2.
Well, you're on about Dave the Arm making sure he doesn't make a mistake, and unfortunately for Jason, it was he that made the minor. Oh my God, I don't believe it! I don't believe it! Jason going for the move, up the inside. The raindrops are falling again. He gives Kulukutu a little bit of a nudge, but I think Jason will let him carry on with that one. I think there's almost. I said, I know what it is. I said earlier on, Jason. Go on.
Dave stayed out. Dave stayed out in the lead. Can he hold on to this now? He's done it once before. Can he do it again? The guys behind, if they pit for Inters, this is a right opportunity. Do you pit? Do you stay out?
No, you've got to stay out. I think you've got to stay out now. You've got to gamble it.
Jason's got to run.
Oh, he has got to run. And I was going to say, lovely move by Jason. Kulukutu struggling a little bit. But yeah, you've got to gamble it in these conditions now. Last lap of the race. Oh, side by side. I said earlier on, Jason needs a little dash of red on his car. That's why he's been getting his elbows out on Kulukutu to get a little bit of red on that yellow and blue. But yeah, I mean, okay, Jason and Kulukutu. Well, Jason and Kulukutu, they're going to get to cross the finish line now. I think if they pit, they lose the podium. I think they should carry on.
I would pit.
What do you know, James? Let's see who's going to be right.
Well, this is going to be one hell of a battle now. Kulukutu, can he take the fight to Jason in these wet weather conditions? I will be breaking about now.
Oh, Jason is, Kulukutu isn't. Oh, can he get around the corner? Yes, just how's Dave the Harp doing? He's looking okay at the moment. Kulukutu got a tiny little bit of a gap. Let's see, Dex and GT Gavin. GT Gavin's close, heading down into turn 1. Can they get it slowed down for the corner? Yes, but it's difficult. No, GT Gavin's spun. He's off. He's into the barrier, but he manages to keep going. Kulukutu's off. Oh my God, Dex is going wide. Is he catching on the road? Who's lost it, Dave?
He's managed just to hold on to it. The rear end completely kicked out. He's going to have to win this at about 10 mile an hour.
So before we'd already seen the slowest finish to a race, it's not going to quite. We might get beaten. So Jason's had problems as well. Kulukutu, he's got a bit of a gap to him though. But Kulukutu's now got Dex catching up. But Dex is struggling to get the car slowed down and turned for the corner. Can he get the power on?
The podium.
I don't know. They can't put the power down. GT Gavin is still in 5th. Scott into 6th now. Mulrine, he did pit. Come on, he hasn't, has he?
Bit of the arse nearly spun it. He's going about 10 mile an hour.
He's lucky though, he's got a big lead, but he is slow. He's only got a couple more corners to go. So Dave the Harp, I said it's worth the gamble, and it might be. The car behind him is not for position. Dave, I think, will just let that guy go, and I wouldn't blame him. Look how slow he's going around the final corner. I think he's trying to let that car go so they're not a lap down. So Dave the Harp is still in first place at the moment. He's going to take victory unless Jason can catch him. No, Jason's too far behind. So Dave the Harp takes 2 victories. Sprint race and feature race again. Fantastic in difficult conditions. Fantastic job there. Jason, he's so slow at the moment and it's painful to watch, but so is everybody else. Kulukutu, he's still trying to catch back up, but I don't know if it's going to work. Dex is still not far behind him. Jason's had an off. He's still just about going in the right direction. Let's see if he can take the last corner quicker than Dave did. No, he's going wide. He's not, is he?
Yeah, Dex has got a run. I think he may be able to just get Kulukutu. Kulukutu's got a little bit of damage, I think.
Okay, Jason's about to cross the line to take second place, and a fantastic job he's done to get that position. He's delighted with it.
Kulukutu in the final corner.
He's going deep. He's going deep, is he? Oh, slow. Can Dex get the power down? It's a run to the finish.
He can. Can he get it over the line, though?
Oh, it's going to be close. I think Kulukutu's going to hold on to third place. A fantastic drive by him and by Dex, who's going to cross the line in fourth. GBM. Oh, it's GT Gavin next, isn't it? Oh.
Yeah. What an end to the race. I'll run out the...
Well, I think everyone might finish on the lead lap here. I'm not sure. GT Gavin, 5th place. Scott, he's going to cross the line in 6th position. I don't know how he's going to feel about that one. I think for many of the drivers, they may just be happy that this one comes to an end. They're all flashing their lights as they cross the line. Stig v Rob pushing it hard towards the last couple of corners. Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? Yeah, he's taken that corner quite nicely. The rest of them were struggling.
The rain, though, looks to be slightly stopping again, so
yeah,
it looks to me like these showers are very short but very, very wet.
Short and violent, that's what they are. A lot like Donald Trump. Stig v Rob, 7th place. Let's see, is it Mulrine that's going to be in 8th, or is it actually GBM Vectra that's going to cross the line in 8th? I think it might be Vectra. Let's see what happens when he does cross the line. Yes, it is 8th place for Vectra, unless he's got another lap to do. Let's see what happens to Mulrine.
Let's see. Mulrine was in front on the previous lap, so...
My apologies. Mulrine does cross the line in 8th place, which means GBM Oldman, I think he'll be frustrated with this one. It's allowed Dave Harp to get away in the standings. It's going to be 9th place for GBM Oldman, and GBM Vectra, who had the slowest end to the race. Unfortunately, he's going to be in the last finishing position, but he will still score points as long as he can. Well, he's crossed the finish line once, so after the leaders, so yeah, he will score points now. But what a race! I mean, that was not a conventional race. Let's just point that out. Definitely not. But what a race we had there. This is where I would love for Jason to have his headset ready to come in for a podium chat, but he usually doesn't tend to do that. I know he doesn't think he's got the best of English, but come on, neither have we. I mean, I never know what James is talking about, to be honest, and if I talk about his clobbering time, he hasn't got a clue.
Well, I've just got to say, would it have been quicker there to pit for wet tyres on the final lap? There's so many drivers flying off the circuit. I think it would have been.
Well, let's see. Jason's last lap was a 2-minute 34. Kulukutu's was a 2-minute 55, and Dex's was a 2:42. So possibly
in the wet, if you put wet tyres on, that was a 2-minute 10 lap time. So 50 seconds in the pocket, maybe 40-50 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, okay. To be honest, had Jason pitted, put wet tyres on, may have worked for him, you know. But to be honest, I think it was fair to say, I mean, we had the discussion, should you pit, should you not pit? And you said you should, I said you shouldn't, and it was the more exciting that they didn't. Was it the right decision? Who knows? But Dave the Harp has joined us in the commentary box, as has Jason, and hopefully Kulukutu will be able to join us for a quick chat as well. I just want to quickly mention, guys, make sure you got your microphone set to allow to be shared. Take a breather, dry off your heads, get yourselves a drink. Do whatever you need to do.
Kulukutu's microphone is not working, so we've got Dave the Harp and Jason in.
Okay, well, if Kulukutu is listening in, Kulukutu, feel free to place your post-race comments. Or Kulukutu has joined us. Kulukutu, if your microphone isn't working but you can hear us, feel free to either send your post-race comments to James in a message on PlayStation, and he can read them out, or put them on the YouTube chat. Either will be fine, and we will get on with our podium interviews from what was definitely an interesting race. I mean, if you thought the thought of the day was weird, I think the race just topped it. On to our race winner, Dave the Harp. I gotta say, Dave, about halfway, well, not even halfway, about a third of the way into that feature race, it didn't look like you were going to get anywhere near the podium, because it looked like Jason and Kulukutu were fighting it out for the win, and then things got a little bit interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with them two, but it was a bit scary moments sometimes. So it was, it was
a bit of clenching going on there, Dave.
I was up and down the race all the time. Should I pit, should I stay out? And then I had no choice in the last stop.
We noticed.
I went past the pit entry, so let's carry on.
I mean, me and James were talking about it. That spin kept you the lead, because within a lap... Yeah, go on, James.
It just gave you such a massive gap, didn't it, then?
Yeah, I was like 50 seconds on Jason. And I was thinking, I've got a pit stop in hand here.
We're expecting to rain in the next 30 minutes, so try and push as hard as you can now.
I've just been told it's going to rain again as well. I mean, my engineer, he said half an hour ago it's going to rain again. It took about 2 minutes, so he's probably going to hammer it down here at the racetrack. I mean, to be fair, I think any of you guys watch this race back and you'll be like, oh, so that's what happened. But yeah, James, I mean, feel free to grill Dave the Harp here, because, I mean, there's some funny moments. I mean, that going for the pits and completely messing it up, and that being one of the key factors to winning the race. I mean, you just can't write that stuff.
that was seriously... I think if you'd have pitted then, you'd have obviously been with the rest of the drivers that pitted. However, because you went past the start-finish line and it just started raining, because you had such a gap to the drivers behind, they were all able to then try and do the undercut, slap on the wet tyres before you did. And yeah, what were you feeling though on that lap when you were trying to nurse the car round? And it also happened on the final lap. What were your feelings midway through on the first time it happened, when you were having to try and nurse the car around towards the pit lane, and then obviously losing it at the pit lane entry?
Yeah, well, I'd already had a little bit of damage, and the steering wheel was a bit wobbly at high speed. And then I'll just slow right down, keep my eye on the time, and just keep it on track. And then I seen the sun popping through the clouds, and I just kept looking at the sun, and that was when I come off, and I got even more damage, and then I just had to crawl around for that last lap. Well, it was horrible. but I must say, from the first stint, I enjoyed very much. It was pretty tough coming through there, some scary moments. But
it wasn't tough. Jason went from last to second in one corner. We'll get to that in a minute. My last sort of quick question or comment to you, Dave. Right, we talked about it in the commentary box. That last lap, in hindsight, should you have pitted for the wets or was staying on the dries the right decision?
I think... Now what happened, I would have pitted.
Okay, do you think, had Jason or Kulukutu behind you, had they pitted, could they have beaten you on that last lap?
No, I think I may have just about enough time, and say it was like 50 seconds one time, and I think it was like 40 at the minimum. So I think I would have had plenty of time to get in and out.
Okay. Dave, we may come back to you in a few moments' time. I just want to mention to Jason and Kulukutu, if you have got microphones, please make sure that in the chat party settings you've got them set to allow to be shared. And we will quickly move on to Jason. And I've got a couple of comments, Jason. One of them is, woohoo, well done, mate. A fantastic second place. But I've got to say, 2 highlights of the race for me. Number 1 was that start. Holy cow. I thought you'd perhaps done a jump start or something, because by the time I got on board with you, you're already in 7th, and by the time you come out of turn 1, you're in 2nd. Phenomenal. We'll get onto that in a moment. The other part, though, which I find much more impressive, was you getting your elbows out a little bit, making your car a little bit wider than it probably is, against Kulukutu, who may not have been overly happy with it, but he was quite happy to do it back to you as well. So from a spectator standpoint, it was fantastic to watch, and I actually liked seeing that little bit of aggression from you. So fantastic stuff. Now, the start of the race, talk us through that first few corners. Well, lucky, yes, but what were you thinking when you come out of turn 2? You've got a chance of the win. What's going through your mind at that point? Oh, okay. Well, it looked like you was... Go on. Oh, sorry, Jason. Just want to interrupt you a second. It looks like the viewers are struggling to hear you a little bit. You might need to turn your microphone up a little bit. You can do that in the chat party, or just if you haven't changed it to allow to share, you may need to do that. I'll just check with the viewers. Viewers, can you not hear him at all, or is he just a little bit quiet? While you just check that, Jason, if you need to know how to do it, we can talk you through that. Yeah, sorry to cut you off there, Jason. I do want the viewers to hear you, because I like the fact that you're on the podium. I mean, me and James, we were absolutely loving a big part of that race. Okay, they can't hear you at all, Jason, so you may need to go into the chat party, scroll down to party settings and click on allow to be shared. You may also want to go to chat party audio mix, I think it's called in English anyway, and turn your microphone up. Okay, viewers, can you hear him?
Hello.
Yeah,
it's on high.
Okay, it's on high. Let's see if they can hear him. We'll get our answers in about 10 seconds time. So while James is sat there, okay, they can hear you. Okay, so just to recap, Jason was saying he got an absolutely fantastic start, and when I asked you, Jason, about your thoughts when you came out of turn 1 in second place, you said just don't make any mistakes. From that point of the race, you had a great battle with Kulukutu. What was that like, being in the car fighting with him?
Yeah, it's not funny. And I will say sorry to him for nudging and my mistake. I break late, nudged it back.
Well, he gave you a little bit of a nudge as well. So I think well, it worked both ways. Okay, the weather was difficult. On that last lap, was there any temptation to pit for the wet tyre?
If I had if I had been behind Kulisutu and he get in the pit. I had to, but now gambling.
Okay, well, it was a gamble that worked. Okay, I'm going to take a big risk now. James, would you like to ask Jason any questions?
Yeah, apologies for that. Yeah, Jason, what an absolutely cracking drive. We saw at the start you were fighting with Kalukatu over the race lead, but then we cut back to you at one moment and you just slapped the wall on the end of the second long straight down towards turn 4. Were there any reason for that?
Yeah, I braked late and hit the back.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Yeah, and get
Right. Well, just to let you know, because Kalukatu's microphone is not working, just a response to you, Kalu, to you, Jason. It's just put, there's no problem with Jason, absolutely brilliant racing. The fight with Jason, he's got no words for it, but he just said it was brilliant. He said, but when I saw Dave closing, I knew my party was over. The rain was very difficult, but it was no problem. So that's Kalukatu's events, and
Yeah.
I think he's pretty happy with that drive.
He is, but he's not happy with Dave the Arp, the guy who destroys the parties, ruins all the fun. I gotta say, I mean, you did, Dave. I really wanted to see Jason or Kulukutu win that race. It would have been their first, and you stole their virgin moment. I'm ashamed of you, but I don't blame you for fighting and taking the victory. But I mean, for Jason, I'm interested to know, right? I've seen you race a lot on F1, on ProjectCARS. You're very, you tend to be very precise. You're a little bit like Alan Prost. You do what you need to do to get the points. Today was different. You were a little more aggressive, and I liked it. So, was it a conscious change? Was it a, I'm going to attack a little more? Has something, is something different?
I don't know. Practice more, I think. It's a different, more practice.
Well, you know what? If you race like that every week, I'd put a penny on it now. You can beat Dave the Arp, because that was absolutely brilliant today.
Thank you. Well done, Dave.
Cheers, Jason.
Actually, I've got one more question, actually, and then I'll hand over to James. Sorry, I'm just really excited. I love the fact of having new people on the podiums and people like Jason and Kulukutu being there and fully deserving it as well. But I'm interested. I mean, obviously, Dave and Jason, you two are teammates on F1. But that means absolutely nothing, doesn't it, when it comes to racing against each other on ProjectCARS?
Oh no, it's all goes out the window now. It's a different game altogether. It's a different race format.
You can't hear anyone.
I think the same respect's still there though when we come together on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, respect each other.
Good. Well, keep up the fantastic racing, James. I called you Jason then. My apologies. I did that to Tony the other week, and Jason, if you haven't seen that yet, I do apologise. I got murdered for that for a whole night. Yeah, James, have you got any final questions for our podium sitters?
All I'm going to say is Dave the Arp now has got 80 points on the board. Are you feeling there's a title on the cards with another 6 rounds remaining?
It's a possibility. I'm obviously off to a good start. So it's a few of the drivers are having a bit of bad luck in the race. So maybe things could change in a few races. No one knows. Just have to keep my head down and do my best.
Right, well there we go. That's the end of the podium chat, and Dave's feeling very, very confident, so somebody needs to turn up and try and take them points away from him as we're heading over towards round 3. I'll just double check. I'm sure it's another American circuit. And,
it is.
I've got maybe one that the drivers will enjoy.
Well, I've got the details here for you. I'm quicker than you this week, James. I just snorted while I laughed. Oh my god, how embarrassing is that? Can you tell I've had a long day? Next race, round 3, will be next Sunday at Watkins Glen Grand Prix circuit. It's another long one. The sprint race will be 4 laps and the feature race will be 20 laps. As James said, it's another race in America, and if it's anything like today, then absolutely anything could happen. So make sure you come and join us for that. Next up on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel will be this coming Wednesday for the Front Row Racing F1 2016 World Championship Reserves race, round 15 from Singapore. That's the no assists. That'll be from about 7:25 p.m. On Thursday, it will be the World Series Reserves, again from Singapore, and again 7:25 p.m, and that's the assist allowed side of the reserves. And as I mentioned, next Sunday 8 p.m. for round 3 of the ProjectCARS DTM. So make sure you come and join us for that. And if you do want to get involved in ProjectCARS or the F1 side of Front Row Racing on PlayStation 4, don't hesitate. Come and find us on Facebook, Front Row Racing. The picture's got a Silverstone wing on it, and drop us a message and we'll let you know what information we need off you. You can also find the Front Row Racing ProjectCARS community on the PlayStation Network. You're more than welcome to come and join that for the ProjectCARS side of things, but please remember our leagues are run on Facebook, so majority of the important posts are going to be placed on there. And as always, on a Monday you can check out the week ahead post that is pinned to the top of the Facebook page for the week, that has details of all of the live events or even the not live events, like the ProjectCARS community event hosted by K-Slay1 on Fridays, which we may be posting some interesting information about in the coming days and weeks, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. James, anything else you would like to comment on before we say goodnight? I get allowed to go and put my head down while I fall asleep to the F1. Sounds like he's already fallen asleep until he turns his microphone back off from mute. Okay, so on that note, say congratulations to Dave the Harp taking victory here at Road America. Jason for taking a fantastic second place. And, he's gone. Kulukutu taking third place. This has been Front Row Racing ProjectCARS. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.
Good night. Well done, Dave.
Cheers, man. Did you say something to me then? I was totally annoyed.
Should I tell them that the live stream's still going? I've not ended it yet. Good night, everybody. We'll see you again soon.